I pause as I hear a loud clopping coming down from the stairs. Jenna pauses too, her ears perked. What the fuck is that ram doing? Sure enough, the ram suddenly comes swinging around the opening in the stairs. The opening to the stairs. I shake my head vigorously at him, but he ignores me. Jenna stands there stiffly, arms folded tightly. Hey, Carl! Weren't you looking around upstairs? Carl stands there in the doorway looking at me with a grin.
I know where it is.
My eyes widen. Really? Upstairs? He ignores me again, instead walking around me to the end of the room. He halts in front of the wood-burning stove. Carl, what are you doing? Again, he doesn't say anything, instead kneeling to twist the metal handles on the stove door before letting it fall open. Jenna walks closer, but is sure to keep her distance, her arms folded. She has to hold them. They're shaking. It's almost like she's about to do some violence or something. I don't know where this joke is going. Go for it, Raven.
She's just quivering with violent anticipation.
She's just standing there, menacingly.
She gets a pencil and puts it on the table and says, "Hey, Carl, want to see a magic trick?"
I can make this pencil disappear.
It's magic.
Raven's like, ooh, I want to see magic.
And then thump. Julian appears in this place. Well, there he goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Raven looks around at us, not even bothering to read the room.
Did you find something?
Carl looks into the stove before slapping the top of the metal stove.
Ha! There it is.
What? But how? How did you know it was there, Carl? Jenna's voice is deep and husky again. Her expression is dark, her eyes narrowed at Carl. Carl ignores both of us as he reaches into the stove. His head is pressed up against the side of the stove as he strains to get whatever it is. I'm about to ask what it is again when he suddenly pulls back and punches the stove.
God damn it!
I jump. He suddenly turns around to face us, his eyes briefly resting on Jenna before he turns to me.
Hey, I think you're small enough to get it.
What? What am I getting? Carl. As if he hasn't heard any of us, he grabs me by the arm and pulls me to the stove. Hey!
Don't worry about it.
Carl finally responds to Jenna, though he keeps his grip on me as he gets out of the way and positions me in front of the stove.
He's just getting something I can't quite reach because I'm fat.
He pushes me down to duck in towards the opening and points to the back of the stove towards where the chimney is.
See that? White piece of paper?
I'm barely able to make out the white smudge in the sea of darkness. Yeah.
That's our ticket out of here. It should say Echo Airlines.
He gives me a slight nudge in the back. I normally wouldn't have a problem crawling into an unlit stove, but something about the setting being a haunted cabin makes me nervous. He gives me another nudge, more insistent this time, and I slowly crawl onto the edge of the stove. It's a tight fit, but I am skinny enough to make it. I decide to sit on the ledge of the opening while the rest of my body stretches inside. The smell is smoke. The smell is smoky and the air is cool. I wonder subconsciously if the chimney might lead up into the outside. I reach towards the chimney, feeling around the rough and metallic surface before making contact with a stiff piece of folded paper. I close my fingers around it and pull, getting just a little resistance before it comes loose. At that moment, something caresses my hand. Rough-tipped fingers that almost lovingly run up my wrist and arm. I yelp and jump, banging my head against the roof of the stove. I fall sideways into the ash-filled bottom. I'm on the verge of panic when Carl reaches in and pulls me out, banging my head again as I fall into the wooden floor.
What happened? Are you alright?
Something grabbed me. I rub my head with one hand, the other clutching onto the paper. Carl roughly pats my clothes, sending clouds of ash into the air. I cough and sputter, feeling all kinds of grit in my throat.
Might have just been imagining it. Who knows what kind of shit is dangling in that chimney?
Yeah. I frown at Carl. How did you know where this was? He grins at me.
Same way it happened last time.
So it is paying off. Well. At least we have something giving us some direction in this place. Jenna snorts, but I choose to ignore her. I look at the old yellowed piece of paper in my hands. It's a lot older looking than the photocopied newspaper that had burned up earlier.
So, you think that's what we need to find?
Raven asks excitedly, staring into the paper. At the paper.
It is.
After a few more hacks, I finally manage to start to get my breathing under control. I make my way over towards the candle for better light. Well, I guess I'll read this out. A hand suddenly grabs at my wrist. Confused, I pull it away instinctively. That's when someone grabs up the paper at the same time, shoving me back. Jenna? Her face is locked and determined, grabbing my wrist and pulling at the paper with her other hand. I probably would have given her the paper if she'd asked, but this sudden aggression has me automatically resisting. She grabs at me, swings me around. We both fall against the bench under the window. Jenna's hand smacks against my nose, bringing tears to my eyes. I yelp as she pulls her fingers in, raking lines of fire down my nose with her claws. There's a pounding in my ears, and I distantly register that the drums have started up again. She twists out from under me and pulls away from the bench. When the fuck did she get this strong? I numbly keep my grip on her wrists as she spins, swinging me away from her. I lose my grip and stumble back, stepping on the wrong foot and rebending my ankle the same way I did last time. I yelp again, much more loudly this time as I crumple to the ground. Carl swears and jumps over me at Jenna. Wait! I try to grab him by the hoof, but that's by the hoof that's passing over me, but I miss miserably. As I sit up, I hear an ungodly, bestial snarling, and I look up to see Carl wrestling and kicking and scratching Jenna onto the ground.
That's fucking it!
He pins her there while she writhes under him, trying to scratch at his face.
Stop it, guys!
Raven is still standing off to the side, his paws on his head, pulling at his ears. I crawl over to their writhing bodies, one eye wincing shut as each movement sends a lightning bolt through my leg. I grab at Jenna's hands, forcing them down above her head. Jenna, stop! Jenna suddenly kicks out with one of the legs between... Kicks one of her legs up between Carl's legs, and he kneels over her.
Oh, fuck!
He crumples over on top of Jenna, lying on her legs as he tries to pin his thighs together.
Little cunt!
Carl rears back and punches at her face, landing a glancing blow, but it's enough to snap her face to the side. Stop! I force myself between the two of them, shoving Carl's chest while straddling Jenna's neck. It's an awkward position, and I'm trying to protect her and stop her from retaliating at the same time. Stop it! What the hell are you doing? I say it to both of them as Carl tries to reach around me for the paper in Jenna's hands. Jenna snarls up at me, but it's softer this time. Her struggles die down a little, and after holding my gaze for about 10 seconds, she looks away. I notice a little bit of blood collecting on the front of her lips. Seeing the paper held loosely in her hand, I quickly reach out and snatch it back in case she tries to attack again. She doesn't. Instead, just laying there with her hands above her head, staring at the ceiling. I slowly push off of the fox, taking Carl with me as I do. He's not fighting anymore either. Instead, taking the paper from me and holding it firmly in his hands while he glares at Jenna. Raven, still with his fingers twisted around his ears, looks over at me.
Yeah?
Take Jenna upstairs. Take a nap or something. I think we need to be kept separate. Raven's easily able to coax Jenna up off the floor, and they head upstairs. Jenna looking down at the floor all the while. I scoot over to Carl, holding my breath as each drag sends another spasm through my leg. Only now am I really feeling the pain in my ankle. Carl is busy inspecting the note, as if he's worried it's damaged.
She was gonna try to fucking burn it.
He holds it up to the candle lights.
Like that would be getting back at me for earlier. She still thinks I burnt that fucking paper.
How do you know that?
The way she was looking at the candle right before she came at you. And she's just the kind of person that would do that.
He looks at my ankle.
You fuck up your ankle again?
Yeah.
God, what a stupid bitch.
Carl. He looks up at me.
What?
I've never heard you talk like that before. Carl shrugs, unfolding the paper.
Well, I've never been attacked like that before.
I look closely at his face. It's still Jenna. You hit her pretty hard.
She kicked me in the nuts.
Well, yeah, but I'm just... Carl doesn't seem very interested at all in what I'm trying to say. She's not herself either. I think the same thing's happening to her.
Same thing?
Like what's happening to you. I know Jenna had ancestors in Echo at the very beginning. What if she was being affected by an ancestor just like Carl is? But for some reason, deep down, I feel very uneasy about bringing up John in front of this Carl. Even if they were lovers, something's clearly wrong now. Carl shrugs.
She's always been kind of a bitch.
I swallow down whatever I'm about to say next.
Anyway, I'm gonna read this so we can the fuck up, right?
Okay. I'm confused and worried. Did I make the wrong decision in telling Carl what to do last night? This isn't like him at all. Ram holds up the letter, clearing his throat.
My dearest John, I've been hearing terrible things lately. They say that you've been accusing me of the most egregious monstrosities. I dare not believe them. In fact, I will not until I hear your words for myself. There must be some misunderstanding. Has one of my many political enemies pitted you against me? Are they using the missing native boys as a weapon against my campaign? I would not think that to be below them. But what concerns me most is you. Please visit me at my mansion. We must speak on this. I very much look forward to your company and believe that we can soon set this straight. Yours forever, James.
I look up at Carl. He looks back at me. So, what do you think that means? Carl shrugs.
John clearly did something terrible to James, right?
Well, maybe, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him or something. I remember the newspaper clipping that had somehow gone up in flames. Hey, that newspaper article that burned up said something about a Meseta kid that went missing.
So John tried to pin missing native boys on James? Oh, that's not a question. So John tried to pin missing native boys on James?
Maybe, but we still don't know if John was doing it anyways. James doesn't seem to know either. I wonder if maybe the James inside of Carl has any idea. I wonder if maybe the James inside of Carl has any idea of what's going on right now. If he does, he's not saying anything. I look at the Ram who's in the middle of rereading the letter. You okay?
I'm fine.
Are your, balls okay? Carl shrugs again.
They're fine too. Want to feel them?
Not right now.
Maybe later.
I think about making a joke about making them feel better, but that doesn't really feel appropriate right now.
They need a massage.
Oh, yeah. Being touched, that's exactly what they need after being kicked.
More stimulation. That's just great.
Yeah, you gotta massage them by squeezing them, right?
Yeah. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I'm more concerned about Jenna. I think she's becoming more dangerous the longer we're here.
Yeah. It seemed that at this point, Jenna isn't really Jenna anymore.
We need to have a talk with her about resisting John.
Yeah? I mean, James is helping you, right?
He's helping me, yeah. But John's not helping her at all.
I look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Carl's long ears perk as he follows my gaze. We both stare at it for a few seconds. Is it unlocked? Carl gets to his feet and strides confidently over to the door. Careful, I say, a little apprehensive that something might open it from the other side. Carl doesn't say anything as he stands in front of the door. Reaching out, he rests the hand on the handle, then gives it a slight push. It shifts open a few inches. Carl looks back at me.
Get the others.
We all stand around the door. Carl to my right, Raven to my left. Raven and I making sure there's maximum distance between Jenna and Carl. The door has shifted open a few inches, and the vertical black void it reveals is a little ominous.
So we just go through?
Isn't that what we did last time?
Yeah. I feel like the real question is if we really want to go through the door in the first place. Is it just going to lead to another terrible place where terrible things happen? I feel a void similar to the one I'm looking at open up in my chest. The thought of being trapped in a loop, going through door after door that leads to nothing but horror. Already this place was having an effect on Jenna. That seems to be getting worse with each passing hour. How much longer can she keep it together? What did the letter say? I tense up. Anything she does now is putting me on edge, like I'm just waiting for her to lash out again. My hand drifts conspiratorially to my pocket where the folded up letter is. I glance to my right at Carl, but he's got his eyes on the door. A few things? Just more history stuff. About what? I decide at the moment that I have to lie. We need to keep Jenna, or John, calm if we want to get through this. I have a feeling that Jenna, John, wouldn't want to hear about James revealing what I assume are secrets. I didn't read anything about John trying to sabotage James in my research, but maybe that's what James was trying to tell us. So I shrugged my shoulders, moving my hand away from my pocket. Stuff about the mine, how there wasn't enough of it to sustain the town. I'm worried Jenna might challenge my lie for whatever reason. She doesn't say anything though, and Carl just keeps staring straight ahead. Raven suddenly claps his hands together, making me jump.
So, should we open it?
Raven reaches out. Wait! The husky pauses and looks back at me, expectantly. His black ears tipped forward. Should we do this? I mean, it's probably just going to lead to another place where we have to find another thing.
Yeah?
So maybe we shouldn't keep going? I stumble over my words, trying to piece together my feelings and put them into sentences as I go. I just think that they're not really on our side, you know? I make an effort not to look at Jenna. So if they're not, why are they doing what they want? Why are they doing what they want to us? So if they are not, why are we doing what they want us to do? I realize that I'm shaking now, and I make an effort to stop, an effort to make my hands still.
What else should we do?
Raven's tone isn't accusatory, but it's genuinely curious. I don't have a very good answer. Well, maybe we can find a way back somehow? Maybe we're still in Carl's house right now. Carl's house. That place seems like it's thousands of miles and years away at this point. Maybe we can, wake ourselves up somehow? Raven doesn't respond, and neither does anyone else. I realize how stupid I must sound. Sorry. I just feel like we're taking things too fast right now. Carl clears his throat.
Trust me, we're going somewhere.
The ram leaves it at that, and I'm left to wonder if James knows exactly where we're going. If he does, why doesn't Carl tell us now? How in control is he? It's something that I would have to bring up later, since I'm not going to be doing that in front of Jenna. You can stay here if you want, Otter. It takes me a second to realize she's talking to me. Is she really that far gone? I just hope that if we reach the end of this, we can get her back somehow.
You would like that, wouldn't you?
I cough, clearing my throat as I realize another fight could be about to start up. No, I'll go. I just wanted to think about it for a second. Have you thought about it then? Yeah. I look at Carl, but he's still staring stoically at the door. Well, if that's all then, let's go. Jenna steps forward to grab the door handle, and I bite my tongue to keep from saying we should wait again. Door swings open to reveal blackness, just like the last time. Unlike the last time, though, there's a spot of flickering light in the distance. The fire. Everything's quiet right now, no drumbeat, but the darkness is unnatural. It's inky and thick, like it's alive. I get the unnerving feeling that it's trying to eat the light from the fire. Maybe towards the fire. Jenna suddenly steps forward and, just like that, she's swallowed up by the darkness. Jenna, wait! She ignores me. Carl gives his shoulders another shrug.
That's all we can see, so I assume that's the direction to go.
I see her form pass in front of the firelights, a few times. Then she's gone.
All right, here we go.
Despite his nervousness, Raven still sounds cheerful about stepping into oblivion.
Lean on me.
I'm suddenly yanked sideways to lean against the ram's sturdy shoulder. Then we're off, Carl tugging me into the darkness.
Stay close.
Yeah, we're immersed in blackness. Not only do things go dark visually, but the change is physical too. I don't know if it's all in my head, but I feel heavier, like the darkness is pushing down on my shoulders. It's colder too, to the point where I can feel the heat radiating off of Carl's body when I brush up against him.
Try to move faster.
Okay. Despite my best attempts, the going is slow, and not just because of my injured, probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky. Like we're outside walking in the desert, which I realize is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like sagebrush. Carl thrashes around with the hand not holding on to me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Where the hell are we? I mutter as I stub my toe painfully on a rock.
Outside?
Yeah, but where outside?
The desert?
So, do you think that we're still in Echo? Carl's quiet for a moment.
No, we're on the moon.
I wonder if maybe all the others, TJ, Leo, and Flynn, are out here too, in the darkness. I want to call out, but I'm too nervous that that's going to attract something to us. I still remember the black figure dancing around the fire we're walking towards at this very moment. We're close enough now that I'm starting to be able to make out Carl in the darkness. I look back to the house and see how far we've gone. All that I can make out is that there are two rectangles of light. One on the door we came out of, and one for the kitchen window. In the latter, a dark figure stands framed by the faint light outside. I squint, not really sure what I'm seeing. Then it moves, disappearing from the window. I stop walking and Carl stops with me, looking back over his shoulder.
What?
I don't... Did one of the others go back? The black figure appears again, this time in the doorway of the house. I don't even have time to react to that before it steps forward and the door swings shut with a distant snap. Oppressive blackness takes its place. I grab onto Carl more tightly.
What the hell?
My mind flashes back to the black thing I'd seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on! I nudge into Carl's side, trying to get him to hurry along while resisting the urge to try and run on my twisted ankle. I'm realizing that it might come to that. Raven! Jenna! I call out into the darkness ahead of us, wanting to warn them. Over our ragged breathing, though, there's a dead silence all around us, except for a drum beat. Either they can't hear us, or they can't respond. Carl's gripping onto me with both his hands, practically hauling me off my feet as he pulls me along. Suddenly he stops, before almost growling at me.
Jesus Christ, get on my back!
He lets me go and crouches down in front of me. Even with everything going on, I'm a bit hurt by his tone, like I'm the main problem right now. I'm there before he even finishes his sentence, and soon my face is bouncing off his hard skull as he starts sprinting towards the fire.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ah, ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ee, yeah, ah, ooh, ee. Whether
Those like men in tights, with like Sheriff of Rottingham under.
yeah.
Ow, ow,
Whether it's in my head or not, I swear I can hear a slithering sound behind me, like a snake sliding over dry leaves. I shiver, not wanting to look back, but I do anyway, trying to peer into the darkness. Of course I can't see anything, but I swear something flashes in front of the lone rectangle of light coming from the cabin's kitchen window. The rustling sounds get louder, and now I can't pretend that I'm imagining it. It casts a picture into my mind. That black shadow creature contorting and bending through the sagebrush that Carl was having so much trouble moving through. I hold on to one of his horns and lean towards his ear. Carl, it's getting close, and then my stomach lurches as it feels like the floor just suddenly drops away. Next thing I know, my nose smacks hard into the back of Carl's head before I flip over, landing on my back in what feels like a sea of sharp rocks. I lay there for a second, dazed, staring at the black ocean above me, wondering if any of this is real. Am I still dreaming? Maybe I'll just wake up in my dorm, probably late to my legal and ethics issues and journalism class.
Fuck! Get up!
A muffled voice breaks through my haze of confusion and pain. Then I'm being yanked back up as Carl pulls me to my feet and forcibly shoves me onto his back.
Get up!
Trying. I can barely mumble through my numb mouth, which feels like it's full of pennies. I can see I'm making dark stains on the back of Carl's shirt. It feels like my face is caved in. I wonder if my nose is broken. But the fear of this pursuit is returning, and I quickly clutch onto Carl's horns before he resumes his sprint. He finally comes to a stumbling halt in front of the massive bonfire, which had looked so small from the cabin. We both stare up at it, the heat almost unbearable. The whisper behind me reaches a crescendo, the hissing just over my shoulder.
Shit.
What are we supposed to do? My voice raises in pitch as I look back behind us, the black shape now discernible in the firelight as it slithers around the rocks and sagebrush. It's like a person imitating a snake. I grip on the Carl as he turns to face it, then takes a step back, then another.
I don't fucking know.
I cling to the ram, and I feel him trembling underneath me. As the creature reaches the edge of the circle of firelight, Carl turns and starts running past the fire. And then my muscles seize up, my jaw clenches, my eyes roll back, and I feel myself falling backwards. Sure thing. Hello everyone, my name is Muir, and I am gathered with Terry Candlestick here. You can find both of us on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, and both of us are on Blue Sky. Have anything to add there?
No, that covers everything succinctly.
Alright.
Yeah.
Very good. We had a previous version, which I might keep in the video, just, as bloopers. But alright, let's go ahead and get on into it.
Blooper, blooper.
The heat is almost unbearable, and my fur is damp from sweat. The skin underneath itching and uncomfortable. I can feel the sun on my face, the brightness turning the insides of my eyelids a dazzling red. I don't want to open them, though. No, I just want to sleep. I almost do fall asleep, but a distant chorus of shouts and screams jolts me back awake. Now I do try to open my eyes, but I can't. It's like they're glued shut. I reach up to paw at them, but my arms won't lift. I must be dreaming, stuck in a paralysis. So I lay there, listening to the shouting and screaming, imagining an angry mob. After what seems like hours, the voices fade and the red turns deeper, darker, blood-like, as if the sun is setting. And that's when I finally drift away, back to sleep. A soft, choking moan brings me back to the surface. I'm still hot and sweaty, but the blazing sun isn't shining in my face anymore. I wiggle my fingers and shift my arms a bit, feeling them glide over fabric. At least I'm not paralyzed anymore. Another moan, followed by a coughing sound, forces me to open my eyes, realizing that it's not part of a dream. I stare up at the ceiling, a textured beige ceiling. I'm back in the room where I'd slept. How long ago? A day? A few days? It doesn't matter because everything comes back to me at once. I feel like a lead weight has just dropped onto my chest, knocking the wind out of me. Fuck. Is this not over? Now I'm starting to become convinced that this is never going to end. We're stuck in a loop, just like in my dreams. Another moan, slightly weaker, makes me sit up and look around the room. I'm alone as far as I can tell. Where are the others? Am I actually alone? I can't stop a soft whimper coming from my mouth at the thought of being separated from the others. I was barely keeping it together with Carl, but without him. A loud cough through the wall behind me makes me jump again. I quickly slide off the bed and immediately cringe as my weight comes to rest on my swollen ankle. I sag against the bed for a moment, squinting my eyes shut as I wonder why my ankle is only getting stiffer. Maybe that fall Carl had taken made it even worse. The thought that those moans could be coming from Carl spurs me to straighten up and carefully hop towards the door. I still have to stifle a short yelp with every bounce, and by the time I reach the door frame, I have to lean against it to catch my breath. My hands shake as I rub my eyes, the pain making me wonder if I'll ever be able to walk without a limp again. Another groan from the room next to me forces me to move again. In the hallway now, I'm able to make out the sounds a bit better and realize it has a feminine quality to it. Jenna? My voice comes out as a crackly squeak, and I grunt to clear my throat. Jenna! I try again and wait, but I get no response in return. I force myself to step into the hallway, clinging to the wall for support. When I look down the hall to the door next to mine, I find something very familiar. A damaged wooden door, the middle bulging and splintered out as if something had hit it from the other side. Memories of a bad smell, a dark concrete room, and a noose. I hold tighter to the door frame, feeling my knees tremble both from the pain and the fear. I look behind me, hoping to see Carl, maybe even Raven. A shuffling sound followed by another cough and a gurgle draws my eyes back to the door. If it's Jenna, I have to act now. I steady myself against the wall as I hop slowly to the door, eyes watering with the pain now. Reaching out with a shaky hand, I start to slowly push at the door. I'm hoping that I might be able to crack it open just a little bit and not draw any attention from whatever is inside. The door only shifts a little, though, and seems to catch on the ground beneath it. It lets out a rough, scratching sound that makes my fur raise up. Gritting my teeth, I forgo the stealthy approach and give it a hard shove. This time it opens halfway and I'm able to see into the room. Just like last time, there's no light coming from within the room itself. Instead, I have to rely on the dim yellow light coming from the hallway. It casts a widening band of light into the concrete room as the door opens. The smell hits me like a wave and I immediately gag, doubling over and pressing my hand to my nose before pulling up the neck of my shirt over my nose. Sure, I smell like BO from the 2 days of running and fear, but it's better than the sweet smell of rotting meat that's enveloping me. Still shaking, I peer into the room while I lean against the door, but I'm only able to see the cracked concrete floor and walls. The grunting and choking sounds reach a peak now, and it's coming from beyond the band of light. It's an inky blackness that isn't all that different from what Carl and I had run through. Hello? No response. It sounds like the grunting has stopped, too. Shit. I have to do something now. I think about just kicking the door open and jumping back, and then I remember there's really nothing I can do with my feet right now. Taking a deep breath, I set both hands against the door. I steel myself for whatever I'm about to see, then shut the door as hard as I can. The door swings in suddenly, scraping horribly against the floor the entire way. I yelp at the suddenness of it all, the tension all exploding out of me at once as I jump back in fear. The band of light widens, sweeping over the entirety of the concrete room before the door finally lodges against the wall with a snapping sound. I almost lose my balance, arms swinging around cartoonishly as I try to hop on one foot. At the same time, I'm fearfully eyeing the opening, terrified of what I'm about to see. And what I do see is definitely terrifying. It's Jenna, in the middle of the room. She's hanging from the noose, her muzzle tilted up, so I am able to clearly see the rope digging into the fur around her neck, painfully tight. Her toes are barely touching the floor, but it doesn't even look like she's trying to keep herself up. It looks like she's unconscious. Jenna! There's no response, and I find myself leaping in her direction. I forget about my ankle until all my weight comes down on it twice in my mad dash, and I literally scream as it happens. There isn't any time to worry about it, though, as I grab at Jenna, unsure of what to do. First, I try to wrap my arms around her and lift her up, screaming again as I set my weight down on my foot. She doesn't respond to any of this and just hangs limp in my arms, which terrifies me even more. I reach up and pluck uselessly at the hangman's knot that I immediately know isn't going to budge, no matter how much I pull. Carl! Carl, help! I feel myself starting to panic. Desperately, I look around, trying to find something, anything I might be able to use to cut the rope. Jenna? I call up to her. I can't see her eyes from this angle, but I can't feel any movement in her. I try to press my ear against her chest, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it at the right spot. I try to quiet my breathing and actually listen, but I still can't hear anything. Shit, Carl! I feel myself starting to hyperventilate, and I try again to slow my breathing. If I pass out right now, I'm going to be less help than I already am. The world is starting to take on a surreal tint, and I think I'm actually dreaming. I think about running to the kitchen, but I don't want to let her go, especially since I feel like she's on the edge of dying right now. I reach up again and start trying to worm my fingers beneath the rope, but it's useless. It's way too tight. My eyes start to water as I realize I'm not helping her at all right now, aside from maybe taking a little pressure off her neck. But it might be too late anyway. Help! Suddenly hyper-aware of the screaming pain in my ankle, and I feel it giving out. So are my arms, burning with the strain of trying to hold Jin up. I press my face against her chest, feeling myself start to give up on everything. And something clicks in my mind. I'm not sure why or how, but I remember the knife, the one that we had carried through the halls. Was it still out there? It's really my only option now. With a great deal of regret, I let go of Jenna, leaving her to dangle and struggle again, though it's much weaker now. With a sense of urgency like I've never known before, I tear out into the hallway, taking a hard right as I sprint down the hall. I'm not sure where I am, but I'm not sure where I am. I can't remember the setup of this place. I take the first left, and just like that, I see the knife lying on the floor, in front of the door we disappeared through. Gasping in relief, I almost faceplant as I bend over to snatch it up, then turn on my heels and run back. When I take the turn again, I see Carl standing at the door, peering at Jenna. Carl! I gasp at him and he moves out of the way as I run into the room. Carl, help me with her! Jenna's not really moving now. Jenna's not really moving, no. And I slash at the rope uselessly for a moment before forcing myself to focus and start sawing at the rope. Carl seems to hesitate at the door. Carl? Carl, help me! Carl walks in, looking at the fennec before sort of hoisting her up a bit. I saw as fast as I can, but the rope is thick, and it takes a good minute to cut all the way through. I'm a couple of millimeters from the other end when the rope snaps, and the three of us come crashing down to the ground. We lay there in a heaving heap. The only sound is our gasps as we all try to catch our breaths, Jenna being the loudest. After a while, I sit up and look over at her. She's already sitting up herself, one hand on her neck, rubbing at it. Are you okay? I reach out to her. I'm fine. Her voice sounds horrible, like she's completely lost it. She leans away a little from my hand, so I drop it. I thought you were going to die, Jenna. My voice is all shuddery, and I struggled to keep my emotions under control, to not have a panic attack. Whatever was controlling this whole scenario just tried to kill one of us. But then I guess that's already happened with the shadow creature thing, and even with what's happened to Raven. Jenna picks up the knife and brings it up to her neck, starting to saw away at the rope. I can help. She ignores me. I look over at Carl and see he's sitting up, just staring at Jenna. Carl, are you okay? I ask it out of confusion. Why had he just stood there? I don't really want to ask right now, though, with Jenna still trying to get that rope off. Carl raises a hand of acknowledgement. We lay there a while longer, Jenna busy hacking at the rope, Carl choosing to stare up at the ceiling. That almost peaceful silence is shattered as a husky stumbles into the doorframe, grasping the wall as he practically trips in.
Whoa! Hey, guys!
He grins, waving a hand at us as he rights himself. He looks around at us, taking in the scene.
What happened?
Jenna got hanged. We had to cut her down. There's really no way to sugarcoat it.
Oh, crap!
He stares wide-eyed at Jenna.
Well, guess it's surprising it wasn't me this time, huh?
He lets out a high-pitched, nervous laugh. None of us even crack a smile.
You're okay, though?
Fine. Raven looks around the room.
Well, it looks like we're still here.
Carl lets out a sigh.
And that's how it's going to stay if we just sit here.
I frown. Hey, we just went through something really fucked up. We should be able to sit down for a sec.
It's been a second, hasn't it?
He waves his hand at Jenna.
Look what just happened. It wants us dead.
Carl. I trail off.
What?
Carl isn't himself. I already know that. If I had known telling him to let James help us would turn him into this, I don't know what to I don't think I would have asked him to do it. I don't really want to think it, but it seems like he would have let Jenna die if I hadn't been there. The way he just stood there. There's a soft snap, and I look over to see that Jenna's pulled the rope from her throat. How's your neck? Jenna rubs it. Fine. Her voice has an air of complete disinterest despite the situation. She seems distracted, too, her eyes flicking around at the ceiling like she's expecting something to happen up there. I look up too, but all I see is concrete, that's spider-webbed with cracks. The rope, I noticed, is hanging from nothing. It just sort of grows out of the ceiling. Carl lets out another sigh next to me.
Are we ready to move yet?
I feel a small flicker of annoyance. Can you cool it for just a minute? Carl's quiet for a moment, clearly sensing the change in my mood. I immediately regret it, but I don't have the energy to take it back.
Yeah, sure. I guess we've been sitting around most of the time we've been here. Why not a few more minutes?
I guess he's not really feeling bad about it, then.
Actually, why don't we just stay here? Just keep pulling those grilled cheese sandwiches out of the cupboard,
I stare at Carl. But before I can say anything, Jenna speaks up. We're going to get out. Her voice is dark, firm, and completely unlike the way Jenna has ever spoken before. We both look at her and she sits there, legs crossed, staring hard at us. Well, at me. Carl sits up.
John.
Now she does look at Carl, and it's out of instinct, her eyes darting to him before looking back at me. I recognize it as that almost unstoppable urge to look the way you to look the way you to look the way you hear your name being called. Yeah, we'd suspected, and Jenna had been acting weird. But to think that she was that consumed by him. Well, Carl is too, so it's not all that shocking. I haven't asked her directly about it yet, so I guess now's the time. Hey, Jenna, are you feeling okay? I'm feeling fine. It's just that you haven't seemed like yourself for a while now. What do you mean? I look over at Carl as he shifts himself around on the floor to look directly at Jenna. His face is hard, dark. He doesn't say anything, though. I clear my throat. Me and Carl were talking earlier about a presence that he was feeling. Like he felt James talking to him. Sounds like he's going crazy. Carl snorts loudly, but doesn't say anything. Well, it's made him act kinda differently. I glance at Carl, but he keeps quiet. Jenna keeps that stern look on her face, frowning at me. What are you trying to say? Well, do you know a guy named John Begay? Not really. You keep mentioning him, but no one's told me who he is, aside from the fact that he was hanged. I remember the picture I'd taken of John back in Carl's crawl space. My hand feels my phone, though, through my pocket, as I almost reach in to pull it out before remembering it's dead. He was in some of the pictures with James Hendricks, the founder of the town. Jenna stares at me blankly. James was Carl's ancestor, right? We think that John was your ancestor, too. He was a fox and has the same last name. So wasn't your family an echo since the beginning? Yes. So it seems like you're probably related to him, right? Jenna stares hard at me, then at Carl. Our family doesn't have records like yours, Carl. Carl gives Jenna a deadpan look. I butt in. See? Jenna doesn't talk like that. You wouldn't say something like that. Jenna doesn't say anything, keeping her glare at Carl. What I'm saying is that John is in your head, kind of like James is in Carl's. I don't think so. I sigh loudly. Something's different with you. It's obvious. We can all see it. Raven suddenly cuts in.
I mean, I don't know you that well, but if we're going by how a normal person acts, you're not acting very normal.
We're not in a normal situation like that, are we? We all go quiet then. Besides, this isn't about clearing James's name or whatever. Why are we talking about John? Jenna stares at Carl, eyes moving across his face like she's searching for something. Carl stares hard right back at her. Besides, if he's not fighting it, why should I? Jenna's expression remains emotionless. So, are you possessed, I mean? Jenna goes quiet again. I rub my face hard with my hands. Apparently, she's not going to confirm it, but I think it's pretty obvious. So what the hell am I supposed to do with two possessed friends on my hands? It's not me you have to worry about, Chase. Carl and I share a look. Jenna, what do you mean by that? A strange look crosses Jenna's face, breaking out of the stoic detachment that she's been portraying for the last however long it's been. It's confused, but it's also like she wants to say something with her mouth open. Jenna? She seems to be frozen like that for a moment, before she seems to finally give up, shaking her head. I don't know. She glares at Carl. Carl glares right back. This time Raven cuts in before Carl can say anything.
Is something stopping John from saying something?
I watch Jenna closely, and that's when she finally looks away. I don't know. Jenna, or Carl, are John and James upset with each other? Jenna shrugs, not looking at me. Carl lets out a sigh of frustration.
What we need to be doing is figuring out how to get the hell out of here.
Listen, I don't know much about these guys, but it sounds like James and John are trying to tell us something.
Raven looks back and forth between Carl and Jenna.
And trying to stop the other from telling us something else.
I rub my face with my hands again, feeling frustrated, just wishing these two assholes could tell us what it is they want to say. So, they're trying to tell us something about the past, and they both don't want us to know what the other knows.
Maybe that's what we're supposed to figure out.
So it's not as simple as just clearing James's name. John has something to say too, but he sure as hell wants us to hear it. Carl, or James, do you have something to say? Carl says nothing. I close my eyes. Fine. So we're stuck in the middle of a possessed ghost fight, and neither one of you are going to talk about it. I really don't have anything else to go off of. Maybe. I try to think back and think aloud, talking towards Raven, since the other two don't seem interested in helping. So when I was doing my research, they both got convicted of sodomy. John was hanged and James left to start his ice cream business.
Why wasn't James hanged too?
His influence in the town, probably.
Well, I can see how that might cause problems between the two of them.
I look over at Carl, who's still looking at Jenna. Jenna is picking at the rope in her lap. There isn't much more to talk about at this point, unless one of the spirits decides to do something else that can help us along somehow. So, what are we supposed to do next, exactly? Raven points back at the room.
There's a door there.
We all look in the same direction he's pointing. Sure enough, there's a door there. It's a concrete door practically cut out of the wall. It's featureless aside from a rusty metal handle. What? Was that there before?
I think I would have seen it the first time I looked in.
Jenna stands up, taking a few steps towards the door. Carl stands up abruptly as well, following her. Jenna hears him and suddenly runs towards the door. I stand up too. Wait, guys, maybe we should... Jenna reaches forward to grab the metal handle, and before any of us can say more, she yanks it open.